Hey guys, so Shane here from Laser Gaming. In this video, Battlefield 5 was revealed. It is a World War II game. Now, this may be disappointing for some of you, it may be awesome for others of you, but now that we're stuck with the game and we can't really change any of that, I want to talk about the top 5 changes that were made in Battlefield 5 from Battlefield 1 and previous iterations in the franchise. Now, this isn't talking about things that are back, this is mostly talking about new things in the game, and pretty much all these are the positive changes. There's one negative one that I personally think is negative, and we'll talk about that. But if you guys are new here, don't forget to subscribe down below. I'm doing a giveaway at the end of the month for a PlayStation gift card, Xbox gift card, or Steam gift card, or even Origin, depending on what you guys are on. So don't forget to subscribe and stay tuned for that, but let's get right into this video. So the first change is to the movement in the game. Now the movement in this game is a lot more fluid and flowing than in previous Battlefield games. You have the ability to dive left, right, front, or back, and once you dive you can actually shoot while you're crawling forwards or backwards on the ground. What's also cool in this game is any single time your gun is out, you can shoot. So if you're vaulting over something and you have your gun in one hand, you can shoot. Your hipfire accuracy obviously won't be good, but you'll still be able to shoot. And yes, dolphin diving is back, like I said before, but in that situation, there is a delay between when you can shoot and you dive so that people don't abuse that. And it seems to sort of the flow between like sprinting, diving, and just sort of like crouching is just a lot more smooth. You guys can probably see it in the trailer. They also bring back crouch sprinting, so you can sort of, there's a different iteration between like walking, crouch walking, and then crouch sprinting, which is going to be faster than normal walking but slower than regular sprinting, but you'll be able to move around a lot quieter than before. So that's pretty much it for the movement. I'm super hyped for this. These movement mechanics sound really awesome, and it seems like they're going to add a lot more sort of tactical aspects to the game and allow you to sort of just play a lot more to how you want to play. You're going to be able to make the soldier do a lot more than you could in previous games. Now the gunplay is the next thing this had changed, and this is probably the biggest change in my opinion, and it is so important and awesome. When I first saw this trailer, I thought that the guns looked and felt like Battlefield 1, and I was not very hyped for it. I personally didn't like the gunplay mechanics in Battlefield 1. There was too much spread, bullet deviation, and visual recoil that just didn't really affect your gun, but it still showed recoil like it was, and they pretty much did away with all of this stuff in Battlefield 5. Something that they didn't really talk about in the reveal or the reveal trailer is that they listened to fans on a lot of these things. I've been reading a lot of articles from people who got inside information from DICE the day before the reveal event, people like Jack Frags, Westy, and those kinds of people. They gave out a lot more information than what was shown in the trailer, and so the gunplay itself, something they didn't mention, is it's a lot better, essentially. You're going to have no bullet deviation, no visual recoil, and there's going to be predictive recoil. So similar to what Call of Duty is trying to do, DICE said it's going to be mostly predictable. So that probably means there's still a little bit of random recoil, but the fact that they even are putting in the word predictable there for a Battlefield game is really nice. So the recoil is going to be a lot more controllable, and there's no bullet deviation. So nice. That means that when you're aiming at a target, if you pull the trigger, it'll hit that target. In Battlefield 1, a lot of the times if you're shooting for a while, the gun will start swaying so much that it won't hit your target. This happens in even Battlefield 4 too, so the fact that that's not a thing in Battlefield 5 seems really awesome. And then I'm just going to throw a bonus in here. This isn't really one of the main points, but these are just things that I came across. I wrote them down on a receipt as I sort of did this while I was driving home and just listening to various things. And so the revive, any player can revive somebody right now, which is really cool. So the revive animation takes a while, probably like 4 or 5 seconds, but anyone on your squad or your team can revive you. I think it might be just your squad. I'm not sure if it's your team, but I know it doesn't matter what class you are, you can revive someone, and I think that's a really cool addition. Now next, point number 3 is fortifications. Now this is really cool. This allows you to sort of build stuff around the map and sort of basically just modify the map as it goes, post-destruction, and even pre-destruction, to sort of rebuild some of the stuff that was destroyed, because DICE said there was an issue where like after people would destroy a bunch of stuff on the map, then the map would just be barren and there wouldn't really be much cover. This allows you to rebuild some of that cover and set up your own fortifications. Now this also implements better class roles, because a support class, they're the ones who are able to build the most, so the ones who are able to build the fastest, and I think that's a really, really good role for them. And yeah, I think this will just really make the gameplay more dynamic, make it so every game's different. In Battlefield 1, even though there's a lot of destruction, it feels like the same stuff is destroyed every time. Having the ability to rebuild some of that stuff would be just absolutely awesome, and it would bring in a lot more diversity into the gameplay. Stuff that we see in games like Fortnite, and why they're so successful is because the players are able to build their own things. And I know this isn't building like Fortnite. There's still some rails on where you can build and where you can't. But it is awesome that they're sort of adding in this element where the players really get to interact with the map in their own way. So next are player bonuses. That's the section that I'm calling this, and this is number 4. And this basically is what I call player bonuses, and it's the elite classes and the behemoths of Battlefield 1. So right off the bat, no elite classes and no behemoths coming back to this game. Thank you so much. The elite classes weren't that bad, but the behemoths were so annoying. Yes, they were cool the first few times you used them, but the amount of times I spawn onto an operations game and rage quit because a behemoth is constantly killing me while I'm killing enemies, and there's nothing I can do about it, just bugs me so much. So no behemoths, no elite classes, but what they are doing is they're giving squad bonuses. This sounds really cool. So if your squad gets to a certain amount of score, or I'm assuming if the equivalent of a commander promotes you, you can get to call in rockets, like a V1 rocket like we saw in the trailer. You get heavy pickups, supply crates with ammo and health, which is very important in this game because you spawn with a lot less ammo, and then health is something I'll talk about on the next point. But then you also have squad-only vehicles that you can call in. So it rewards squads that play well and do well. It doesn't just give these as free handouts to everyone. It gives it to the squads that are doing the best, and I think that's really cool. Now you could lower the threshold of what is required to get one if you're trying to help a team progress. Like in operations, if a team needs that little extra push, you might sort of lower the requirement to get one of these squad-only vehicles or the rockets, just so that that team will actually get access to it. But the fact that the best squad will get them, I think, is really useful, because that'll really help the team progress. And the good thing about it being a squad is, even if you're not a very good player, every once in a while you'll probably join a very good squad and you'll be able to get one of these things, so that's cool. The one issue I find with this is that it does put too much pressure on the squad leader, I feel. The squad leader is the only one who can call these in and decide what you get. And I feel like that's kind of an issue, because if you have a terrible squad leader, he might just mess around with all this stuff and not do it right. So I'm not necessarily sure how the squad leader thing's going to work. They might want to sort of change that around, or implement a better voting system on if you want to get rid of the squad leader. Like if after the squad leader makes a decision, it would say, do you agree with this decision, and that kind of stuff. And if it's like 3 out of 4 people say no, squad leader's gone. That kind of stuff would be interesting to implement, and that's the main concern I have with that. But overall, very positive. Now next thing, and the final thing, point number 5, is health. So this change is kind of questionable in my opinion. It's going to make Battlefield 5 a lot more of a tactical shooter and a lot more methodical, which I'm not necessarily sure is a good thing. So basically, full health regen is gone, similar to what Call of Duty is doing. But where Call of Duty would have you inject something into your arm and regen instantly, Battlefield's saying no. You will regen to certain thresholds, so say there's thresholds at like 25, 50, 75, and then 100. So if I took 1 bullet of damage, I got down to 80 health, I'd regen back up to 100. But if I took 2 bullets of damage and went all the way down to 60 health, I'd only regen up to 75 unless I have a medkit. This is a very interesting system, but I'm not necessarily sure how it will work entirely. We'll have to see how that goes. And then there's one last thing called the Grand Operations, I believe. And that sounds like one of the coolest things in the game, so I'm probably going to save that for its own video. But Grand Operations, just think operations, but on a whole nother level. And I'm not just sort of hyping this up. Me personally, when I saw this trailer and this reveal, I was pissed off. At school, I was just like borderline depressed. My friends were talking to me and stuff, and I'm like, I can't do this, man. I was just so angry at the reveal, because it's like, one, it's boring old World War II. and 2, it seemed like they just dumbed everything down because they really did a poor job of showing off all the changes they made to this game, which is pretty sad. But after hearing about all the changes they made, I'm actually hyped for this game. I think this game has the potential to be a very tactical and very skill-based shooter, something that we haven't seen in the Battlefield franchise for a while, and it's something that's definitely welcome to me and many of the veteran fans in the franchise. So tell me what you guys think about these changes down below in the comment section. We have been killing it lately on YouTube, guys, so don't forget to drop a like down below. Subscribe if you are new here for much more Battlefield 5 videos. But that's what it is for you guys. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.